This is AV SuperFriends Perspectives, a collection of interviews, discussions, and presentations from conferences, trade shows, and events that just don't fit either of the other two shows. Some are long, some are short, but they'll all have valuable insights, useful information, or just good conversation with thought leaders and subject matter experts. And now, the AV SuperFriends. All right, we are at NWMET 2025, and we are visiting with Ricky at NEAT to talk about their NEAT stuff. Mark just pointed out that of all of us, and I guess including NEAT, I'm the only one who doesn't have any NEAT stuff. But it's intriguing because I know Larry in particular has been talking about it for a while, specifically in the BYOD mode. But so I'd say, Ricky, let's start with just what does NEAT offer? But I like where you're going with this, with the BYOD. The added features towards that. So
yeah, exactly. So we want to keep it neat, simple, and easy for you guys. We want to keep it easy for you and your end users. BYOD specifically, all of our bars will soon be BYOD only, have an option to have BYOD only, and then also have the Android bar still turned on, so you can run native Zoom or Teams. But that use case right now is huddle spaces. So huddle spaces, smaller spaces, and then we'll move to the bar Gen 2, and then bar Pro after that for those larger spaces. Okay. Every one of these bars is going to be BYOD at one point. You can do BYOD right now through just plugging in a USB-C for our Generation 2 devices. Generation 1 devices, which would be the board and the bar, would be a USB and HDMI. But yeah, we want to keep it easy for everyone, so that's our plan.
And just to be clear, the reason why I find this so exciting, your computer just sees it as a webcam. And so It takes it out of those Teams rooms, Zoom rooms.
Right, and that's what I was going to mention was like, if you're in a Zoom room or an MTR ecosystem, you have that.
Yep.
And
exactly.
here it is for whichever flavor you want, and you've got like a full kind of ecosystem for that.
Exactly.
But in the scenario where I want it to be someone's going to bring in their laptop and they're going to drive the system, but I still want all the advanced neat features, the automatic camera framing, the automatic microphones, all that stuff. But I want all those features, which, and correct me on this, previously were like exclusive to those room system builds. And now on the BYOD, that's all getting exposed to
BYOD, you get everything.
Yeah.
You get all the AI features. You get the neat symmetry is what it's called, that kind of our Brady Bunch, and then that group framing as well. And we do human silhouette tracking, not speaker framing.
Okay.
Right, so we're framing everyone in the shot that we want to get in. We use a virtual boundary. If we don't want them in, we'll cut them out. But yeah, that's kind of how we do it. We want meeting equity for everyone. We really believe in those nonverbal cues, right? So part of, as a seller, if I'm talking to you guys, and if you have no interest in me or the iPhone prayer, like my sales manager likes to say, then I know this isn't going to work, right? So we really focus on those nonverbal cues, the meeting equity for the far end. That's our goal.
Okay.
Yep.
And then is all that AI, all the processing, all the magic is happening in the NEAT hardware. So there's nothing I need running on my laptop. There's nothing I need. I'm plugging in a USB, or it sounds like in some cases it's USB and an HDMI, depending on the generation. I'm guessing that's based on the generation of the bar itself. Yeah,
soon it will be mostly everything will be Generation 2 single cable connection.
USB-C for everything.
USB-C,
gotcha.
yes, yep.
But even on the older ones, I'm plugging in USB-C or USB and HDMI.
And HDMI, yes.
But then all the work is happening on the NEAT bar itself.
On
Interesting.
The bar. Or the board.
Or the board, yes. Like almost completely opposite. Like I build mine around the Zoom room and the team room experience with the baked-in on-board version of that. Mm-hmm. For just the pure simplicity, I use them in spaces that maybe they're not classrooms, but they're simple, and they may be on the edge of remote locations where we don't have a whole lot of tech staff, or we've done the whole board on the cart, rolled it in, and have done it built around the Zoom room, and it's turnkey, right? I don't really even use them as wired inputs or anything. I just leverage the Zoom room capability, and the coverage and capability of the bar, the camera, the system at large is like fascinating how large of a space.
You mentioned it kind of punches above its weight.
It's way above its weight class, and I tell the story that it was the unit that I think our entire department went in and were like, we're going to be super skeptical of this thing, and overwhelmingly everybody was shocked by the performance of the bar in almost a full-size classroom space. And then the auto tracking, the camera separation, all that stuff worked so well just out of the box that we were all kind of blown away. We had no idea what we were getting. We took a chance, and somebody really, really wanted it, and we're like, okay, let's do it. And now we've actually deployed several more because it's been such a positive experience. I think it just works out of the box.
And after Mark has expressed his experience with it, I tried it because I had several people in like my provost office and, high-level places on campus where they were really interested in that center camera solution that is not pro-ready, that I'm sure we've all seen.
Oh, you're talking about the tabletop 360 camera.
They wanted that experience.
Maybe named after some sort of flying rat.
They wanted that, and I was like, I am not putting that in this level of room for you to fluster around with. I tried this, and it does a fabulous job in those spaces.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'd love to have you guys on a customer panel. I mean, that's great to hear that feedback from you guys.
But it's very elegant, and I think there's a simplicity about it. It's not overly complicating an experience. It's very simple, and it just
100%.
works. And I think if you haven't experienced it, it's worth people looking at. Even being on a meeting when one's being used, like it's one thing to be in the room, but it's also a different thing to be on the other side of that meeting. And often we're on this side of it, and we're never in the meeting. But
that's a good point.
It works equally well both sides of that experience. So I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, I'd agree. Can I ask you guys a question? Are you utilizing Pulse?
I'm in a private island network, so no.
We've looked at it. We currently haven't needed to use it yet, but we know it's there. We're intrigued by that, and maybe something as we deploy more, we'll probably kind of go into that ecosystem.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I think Pulse is going to be the same kind of simple mindset that we have towards our bars, right? That's what we want. We want it easy for you guys to use, so then you can tackle different problems.
Just to take a step back, Pulse is the cloud monitoring system, is that right?
Pulse is the cloud management platform.
So what can I do through Pulse?
Through Pulse, one of the great keys that we have Pulse for is for remoting into a device.
Okay.
So if something's going wrong with the room, or it could just be user error, you get a phone call, IT ticket, whatever. Hey, what's wrong with my room? Let me remote in. Remote in, you can solve the problem. You can mess with the device settings in Pulse. All of that.
Are you able to see and hear everything through the camera through Pulse, or how would that work?
It would be through the meeting at that point.
Okay, you'd be able to join the same meeting and see what
you can start a meeting. I mean, you can do whatever. You're owning the device.
Full remote access.
Full remote access. Yes, exactly.
The eye in the sky.
Yeah, eye in the sky. Right. Gives you a 15-second countdown on the user side. They can say yes or no, and you also can disable that if you don't want it in certain spaces.
So they can't say no.
Yeah.
You're going to say yes. Yeah.
So there's no options there at all. And then the Neat pad, does that tie into these? If in BYOD mode, I leverage that as like the basic control system in the room?
That's a great question. You actually wouldn't need the Neat pad in BYOD.
Okay.
So your laptop would do that lift and the setup for you. So at that point, no pad needed. Those pads can also be schedulers too. So if you had a huddle space right now, throw a pad on the outside scheduler, but you wouldn't need it for a BYOD.
Okay.
Yep.
We actually have it in some of ours though, because it does give you that extra point of control.
Right.
So in some of those like provost meetings and things.
Is that in the BYOD scenario though?
In the
it is. Okay.
scenario,
Right
we have
now
it
you
over
would
in
need
in the corner, so we can set up the room without interfering with the meeting itself.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Are you using Zoom, Larry? Or
we're Teams. Yeah.
Okay, so right when you plug in, it knows, hey, BYOD. Yep, exactly.
So it's clever the way that kind of works, and just the elegance that it really is. And so it's a good disruptor. I think thinking about how that collaboration and what that can be, and kind of removing some of that load, right? It just kind of works. And I think that's what we're looking for.
At the end of the day, people want to walk in, they want to host their meeting.
They don't want to spend time. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Oh,
right.
Get rid of all that stuff. Just know the stuff just goes, and
neat, simple, and easy.
Yeah,
those are our key words right there.
Was that the original name of the company, and you've simplified it down a little bit there?
No, it's just neat. Yeah, just neat.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, no, this is very slick. I know I'm going to talk with you more specifically about a terrible, terrible space that I have on campus that this might be a solution for. So that'll be fun to explore. So
perfect.
Ricky, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is to email me. It's ricky.lane@neat.us. You can get a hold of me there, and I'll get back to you. I cover public sector for basically all of the West except for California and Arizona.
They're not part of the West.
So
that's its own little country.
Yeah, it's its own country.
They get their own. They get their own rep.
They do.
Well, awesome.
Very cool.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Well, that wraps up another episode of AV SuperFriends Perspectives. If you have a perspective to share, you can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV SuperFriends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.